If it's Monday night, oh, yes, it is. Ridiculously Raw. Hello, friends. Ridiculously Over. Gentlemen, Anthony Florio here with you. I don't care what we're doing. We're starting the show right now. So, Didi Whitson and I both have early wake-up calls, so we're just going to fly into the show. Michael Bullock's going to be running late. I know that. I don't know where MF is, but hopefully he'll be joining us in a matter of minutes. So he probably needs a few minutes. That's fine. So I'm not wasting any more time. We're going to go right into the show here tonight. So, yeah, Monday Night Raw live tonight from the Sprint Center in Kansas City, Missouri. Go home show for Payback. And without further ado, let's start it off with Chris Jericho. It was his highlight reel, or was it his highlight reel? He was then interrupted by The Miz and Maurice. They turned it into Miz TV. And then out came the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, Dean Ambrose. It turned into the Ambrose Asylum. 3 different shows in one segment there. So, long story short, it was a nearly 20-minute opening segment that had some generally funny moments and filled the time well. Yet it did not accomplish anything when it came to getting me more excited about Owens and Jericho at Payback. I assume we're also going to get Miz and Ambrose for the Intercontinental title on Sunday night, but it's going to take more than the babyface getting the better of the heel on Raw again to get anyone excited by that bout. So, but it was a fine segment for what it was. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So Didi Whitson, Twisted Angel, come on in. Let's get your thoughts on this opening segment here.
Well, it was okay. I mean, it wasn't the best in the world. They just basically had an argument who was going to have the main, show, like the highlight reel or the Ambrose Asylum or Miz TV, whatever. And that's basically all it was about. I mean, it wasn't really anything storyline progression, in my opinion, to back up the pay-per-view. So it's okay for what it was worth. So just go on.
All right, fair enough. We go into our first match of the night. It was a singles match, an individual match. You remember last week we saw Jeff Hardy go one-on-one with Cesaro in a really good match. This time around, it was their partners that got the airtime here. Matt Hardy goes one-on-one with Sheamus, and we saw some bits of the broken Matt Hardy character in this one. Yes, we did, and the dirt sheets have come out, and the dirt sheets have said that Vince McMahon wants to apparently bring the broken Hardy characters into the fold here. And oh boy, if that happens, we're really going to have some fun with that. So, but anyways, it was Hardy and it was Matt Hardy and Sheamus one-on-one in this individual matchup here. The preview, the big tag team title bout coming up Sunday night at Payback. Winner of the match in 10 minutes, it was Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy, off a distraction, there was some extracurricular activity outside with Jeff Hardy and Cesaro, and it distracted Sheamus, and Matt Hardy hits a twist of fate for the 1-2-3. So Matt Hardy wins the match in 10 minutes, and you know what happens when we get a Hardy victory now, don't we? You know what happens. You know what happens? You don't make the list, but we get to celebrate with green beans for everyone. Yes. That's how we do it here on Raw. I only wish Bullock was here because that's become our new thing lately. So celebrate with some green beans. I only wish MF was here. He could have done the obsolete song like he always does. So, but then again, we did it last night during our Ranger Roundup, celebrating the Rangers beating Montreal. So we're good on that. So Didi Whitson, let's start it off here with you. Matt Hardy, Sheamus, very good. I don't think it was as good as last week's match, but I think it was still a good fight anyway.
Yeah, it was a good fight. For me, I'm probably going to give it 2 to 2.5 stars. Mainly because of the distraction at the end, but still, it's showing, the guys don't have any ring rust. They're bringing exactly the same element that they had at TNA over here, and that they're continuing to come out stronger than ever. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Didi. I can hear you.
Okay, because I took out the wrong headset, the wrong earpiece.
No worries.
So, yeah, that's about all I'm probably gonna say about it. So, your turn.
Yes. For me, hold on 1 minute. I'm getting some messages here. Hold on just a moment. Bear with me. Let me see. Um, it's either MF or it's Bullock. Oh, okay. MF. Oh, MF is out. Oh, what a shame. Um, all right. Oh, wow. Okay. Apparently, it's allowing him into the Hangout program. It's saying that he can't be in the video chat. Well, I guess apparently MF is out of the show tonight. It's a damn shame. But hopefully, the issue that he's having right now will not affect him going into tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talks. But for right now, MF is out, unfortunately. Damn shame. But hopefully, he can find a way to work around it. As far as my thoughts on the match goes, I'm going to be real honest with you. When it comes to the matches on this night, I got to say by default, this was the fight of the night. I got to give it 3 stars. Very good match with Sheamus putting in another strong effort and Matt coming off very motivated in his first Raw singles match in a long time. And they also built some good tension for the match on Sunday night when they battled for the tag team championship. Entertaining match with a nice change from the usual formula of the tag wrestlers splitting singles wins. I continue to dig the handshake tension, and I'm genuinely curious to see how this plays out on Sunday. We also saw more overt broken mannerisms that we have seen since his return. He was still true to the typical Hardy Boys version of his persona at times, but the open plays for Delete and the big yell seemed stronger than usual. So, yeah, I liked it. So apparently the broken Hardy persona is coming back. So that's all I can say there. So, all right. Next up, Cruiserweight Tag Team match with the Cruiserweight Champion Adrian Neville teaming up with TJ Perkins, going up against Austin Aries and Gentleman Jack Gallagher. Aries and Gallagher win the match. Gallagher, it was Aries who hit the discus 5 arm on TJ Perkins and got the 1-2-3 out of that. So for me, I got to say this was my second best fight of the night here. 7 minutes and 25 seconds worth of action. 2 3/4 star match. Pretty good match overall. The commercial break early bothered me a bit. It cut off the great momentum they opened with. It was an overall strong and entertaining match with Aries getting the win and the momentum heading into Sunday's pay-per-view events. So that's really all I can say on that. And I know Didi Whitson doesn't talk about the cruiserweight matches, but I'm looking forward to seeing Neville and Aries one more time. And I don't know, will it be as good as the match they had at WrestleMania, which should have been on the main card and not the pre-show? It is what it is on that. So, all right. Then we move on to a rather interesting matchup here on Monday Night Raw. I mean, this is something that's never been done on Monday Night Raw before. And all right, so it's been done before. It's only been done twice before. I mean, we gotta go back into the archives on this one. For the first time in Monday Night Raw history, in the nearly quarter century history of this show, well over 1,000 episodes, we had ourselves a dumpster match. Yes, and I heard about this. I read the dirt sheet earlier in the evening. Earlier in the day, I read the Bleacher Report dirt sheet talking about the bout, and it was announced on WWE social media on Twitter that this match was going to happen: Braun Strowman versus Kalisto in a dumpster match. I mean, this was hard to believe, but they did it, and of course, the first dumpster match took place WrestleMania 14. Who will ever forget it? Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie, alias Mick Foley and Terry Funk, they went up against the New Age Outlaws for the tag team championship, and Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie won the match and the tag team titles. And then the other dumpster match in history, King of the Ring in the year 2000, D-Generation X, X-Pac, Road Dogg, and Tori went up against the Dudley Boys in a 3-on-2 handicap tables dumpster match. D-Generation X won that match. And ironically, the only 2 dumpster matches in history took place in the same arena, Boston. TD Garden, which is it's now known as, of course, back then it was known as the Fleet Center. But anyways, that's all there is to say on that. So, but anyways, Braun Strowman, Kalisto dumpster match, and what happened? Surprise outcome: Kalisto actually wins the match in 5 minutes and 10 seconds to 5 minutes and 25 seconds. And wow, I mean, now correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't the rules of a dumpster match, doesn't the guy have to be completely in the dumpster with the lid shut? Kalisto fluke via a fluke knocks Strowman into the dumpster, and they say the match is over. What? I get it. Braun Strowman's a freak of nature, but come on. I mean, if it's a dumpster match, shouldn't you be put completely in the dumpster with the lid shut to win the bout? Isn't that right, Didi Woodson? As I started with you here.
As far as I know, I mean, it's not that much different from a casket match where you have to have the lid shut on that as well. So I'm kind of surprised that just because his feet landed in there, that they went ahead and called it. But it is what it is. It seems like WWE's changing their rules themselves a lot. I guess they're see how do I want to put this? I guess they're in a way. I work with special needs people, and they never stay on their own schedules. They're always changing everything around. So I guess WWE is kind of like that, where they're getting bored with the old rules. So let's change up the new rules. Where people like me were like, if it's not broke, don't fix it, type thing. And the old rules made more sense than just his feet land in the dumpster. So let's ring the bell. It might have been a fluke, but I mean that was a pretty cool way though of getting him in the dumpster. Just I wish they would have done it the way they're supposed to do it instead of just feet land in so he wins type thing. So it is what it is.
I'll set that.
I'm trying to think of what my rating was because I don't have it written down. I guess with this one I'd go probably 1.5 to 2. I mean, it was a fair match, but nothing compares right now to that opening bout though. That one was definitely the better out of all the matches for the night. So
I agree.
I'm sure you may go a little higher than me, but
a little higher, yeah.
Yeah, but I'll be honest right here, right now. This was not a Raw that impressed me, and thank God the women's matches later, I hope, are cutouts because you would be getting one hell of a rant tonight, and you don't want that on the show because it probably would not be very clean.
No, indeed not. No, indeed not.
So I'll give it back to you.
Yeah, no problem. 2.5 stars for me. I'll be honest here. It was an overall good and strong segment, but Kalisto gets nothing from the fluke win. But at least Braun killed him afterwards and throughout the bout, which will be remembered more than the fluke loss. And the fall from the stage isn't nearly as steep as it once was, and the dumpster landed on its side, so it didn't really look all that impressive. Strowman didn't really lose anything by losing, given the way the finish was booked. But I'm also not sure what purpose it really served, other than give him a reason to be PO'd. The actual dumpster spot was a big letdown compared to Strowman's recent pre-taped carnage. On a positive note, Kalisto's new entrance is a little edgier and better than the old happy-go-lucky kitty entrance, with all those silly lucha chants. But, it is what it is on that. So, okay. As I informed Didi in our little group chat, there are quite a few cutouts tonight, and I mean, Bray Wyatt cut another one of his hocus pocus promos about that House of Horrors match, even though I'm intrigued by it. I mean, I'm still not, holding my breath that it's going to be a classic or anything. Wouldn't surprise me if it's not, given how awful that title match was at Mania. Let's not kid ourselves. But anyways, we go into the women's match. We had two of them. The first one here, we had Dana Brooke against Alicia Fox. Dana Brooke won the match in 1 minute and 25 seconds. Completely botched that finishing move. It was a fireman's carry into a Michinoku Driver, but she completely botched it. I don't care what anybody says. That was, in my immortal words, a dipsy-do botcheroo. That's all there is to say on that. And don't worry, Didi. You know how much I love and respect you, so I am not going to have you even dignify that match. I mean, that match was terrible. Or in the immortal words of Charles Barkley, terrible. No rating to a dud for me. I mean, Maroon. No one cared about the women's match. I mean, I know I certainly didn't. Didi didn't either. I mean, the crowd, up to that point, the crowd had been solid, but the fans were very quiet. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if anybody was sitting on their damn hands, for crying out loud. Good grief. I mean, good Lord, was that awful. The angle last week, I don't know what was worse, the angle last week or this bout here. It wasn't good at all. Completely disjointed with an ugly finish. Second time I've seen Dana Brooke hit a bad version of her finisher on Fox. Hopefully she doesn't hurt her, because it's almost worse each time. No way. So get that. So get the what out of here with that. So and then we move on to an interesting 6-man tag team match. It was supposed to be the Wrestling Forum's favorite tag team, Enzo and Cass, teaming up with Seth Rollins to go up against Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, and Samoa Joe. But before the match, Enzo and Cass were doing their usual shtick, and then Anderson and Gallows gang jumped them, and then Enzo Amore gets taken out. So we're thinking, okay, 3-on-2 handicap match now with Cass and Rollins against Joe, Anderson, and Gallows. But general manager Kurt Angle comes out and says, Enzo Amore, yes, he's out, but we're not going to have a 3-on-2 handicap match. We're going to have a 6-man tag team match. So Cass and Seth, I got you a new tag team partner. It's the Demon King, Finn Balor. Whoa, business has just picked up, in the immortal words of JR. But nonetheless, it was Finn Balor replacing Enzo Amore. He teams with Seth Rollins and Big Cass against Anderson, Gallows, and Joe. And it was Rollins, Balor, and Cass who pick up the win in 6 minutes and 20 seconds. Another 2.5 star bout for me. Solid tag match with some moments of fun, but they didn't get much time to lock into anything of note. Rollins picks up the win to get momentum heading into the pay-per-view, while Joe avoids the loss. I mean, I can certainly understand that. And, I guess this means babyface Rollins is abandoning the pedigree in favor of the need of the face. So that's all I can say there. So, and they made good use of Balor while they wait for Wyatt's program, Hocus Pocus program, and Randy Orton to end, which it will on Sunday night, mercifully, because a lot of that stuff was awful. So that's all I can say there. Another 2.5 star bout for me. So, Didi Whitson, your thoughts on this 6-man tag?
Hey, I agree. It was, for me, since I'm not even giving the cruiserweights the time of day, this for me would have been the second fight of the night, or the second in line. I'll agree with the rating. It was, it was really good. Seeing Balor come out as their partner kind of was a surprise, but at the same time, not a surprise, because I think down the road we're going to see a lot more of Balor possibly going up against Joe once this Rollins and Joe thing is over with. So not going to say too much more about it. Just if you're going to skim through Raw, this would definitely be one of the, so far, I guess 3 matches that would be worth your time. So that's all I'm going to say. So it's back to you.
All righty. Moving on now to our, this was what happened here? This was a bit of a 2-for-1 deal. We had Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss, of course, the number 1 contender for the Raw Women's Championship. She will face Bayley on Sunday night in Bayley's hometown of San Jose. They were then interrupted by Sasha. Sasha Banks. I mean, Bayley would come out, and then Sasha came out, and then Sasha basically. They basically had Sasha and Alexa already penciled in for a match, and Sasha Banks won the match via count out in 2 minutes and 35 seconds. So don't worry, Didi. I'm not going to have you get into this either. This was another cutout. I'll be honest with you. I thought the verbal exchange was actually better than the match itself, if I'm going to be real honest. They can't pull the trigger on Sasha turning on Bayley soon enough for me. Sasha coming out and defending Bayley at every turn is a turnoff, but it's obviously building toward the split. I mean, we all know the plan is, according to several dirt sheets that I've read, it is as but let me just talk about the promo, though. It was an overall solid promo segment. Bliss was really good and played a great counter to Bayley's character. But as far as the match goes, another no rating to a dud. It was not very good while it lasted, and we got a cheap cop out finish. And I'll go on the record here. The dirt sheets that I've read have reported that Bayley and Sasha Banks are headed for a SummerSlam feud for the Raw Women's Championship in Brooklyn, the Barclays Center. You remember 2 years ago, TakeOver Brooklyn, the 5-star classic they had. They stole the show. Everybody remembers that. I mean, and in my honest opinion, it was the greatest women's wrestling match I ever saw. I mean, it was like a women's version of Savage and Steamboat. That's how great that match was. And who knows? If they put Sasha and Bayley in Brooklyn again for the Raw Women's Championship on the biggest stage of the summer in SummerSlam in 4 months' time, oh my goodness. Who knows? That could be just as good, if not even better. So don't worry, Didi. I'm not going to have you. Give any thoughts on either of the things here. So because I know you'd probably go off here, and we got things to do. So it was also announced that at Payback, we got 2 new segments announced for Payback. We're going to have a tag team match, Enzo and Cass against Gallows and Anderson, and then a Miz TV segment with Finn Balor as his guest. Now, that could be interesting right there. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out. And all right, another cutout here. Kurt Hawkins running his mouth, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, his little star factory. Yeah. Like I want to be a part of that. Apollo Crews takes up the challenge, and of course, Apollo Crews wins the bout in 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Another no rating to a dud. It was okay, but I felt Hawkins got too much in. Quite frankly, I think it was about a minute and a half longer than it should have been. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I mean, that's something nobody wanted to see. Complete waste of time, trifle unnecessary. So that's really all I can say there. So, all right, let's just move on. Let's see, what else do we have? And then, well, we got the main event, which ended up being what we thought was a 2-on-1 handicap match. Dean Ambrose, Chris Jericho against The Miz. Miz said he had a partner, but he didn't even show up, and he said he had a flair for the dramatics. And Kurt Angle says, "You know what? No, we're not gonna cancel the match. We're not gonna postpone it. It's gonna start right now, whether you have a partner or not." So 2-on-1 handicap match, and well, it went to a no contest in 13 minutes, and then all hell breaks loose, and then all of a sudden, out comes Bray Wyatt. I guess Bray Wyatt was the supposed partner all along, and well, it goes to a no contest here. We could give it a rating, but when we do no contest stuff, it's automatically an NA. So Didi Woodson, do you have a quick thought on this before I take it for a spin here?
No, I don't have a lot to say about it. I'm kind of glad Angle didn't take Mrs. Crap. And seeing Bray come out wasn't a total surprise, but at the same time, he's in the middle of this stuff with Orton, which is going to be ending at this pay-per-view. So this hopefully will start the next storyline with him. So that's about all I have to say about it. I mean, I'm not going to rate it just because of how it ended. So back to you.
Yeah. If I had to give it a rating, I would give it 1 3/4. But it's an NA automatically because we had no finish here. Extremely flat main event and overall go home angle. they tried to get some momentum for Wyatt, but it did very little in terms of making me care about the actual segment or the pay-per-view Sunday. Not bad. It was just extremely flat, and that's exactly what it was. And well, overall, I'll give you my overall thoughts on this edition of Monday Night Raw tonight. Yeah, and what a strange main event for a pay-per-view go-home show, as not a single advertised pay-per-view match was featured amongst the 4 wrestlers involved. The babyface duo didn't look great by working over a pest heel, but the live crowd seemed to take it like the heel was getting what he had coming to him. The big bad of Payback is Wyatt heading into his House of Horrors match, yet he closed the show by delivering a crowd-pleasing Sister Abigail on heel Miz. So that's all there is to say on that. So for me, my overall rating, 5.5 out of 10. Oh, I thought that the first hour and 15 minutes were pretty good and that they were doing some solid stuff to build to the pay-per-view. Unfortunately, the show started to taper off in terms of quality and never really recovered. All in all, a disappointing and not very good go-home show for the Payback pay-per-view that limped home in the final hour. I mean, it did not leave me more anxious for Payback than I was going in. So, yeah, I don't have a good feeling. I mean, I know it's a Raw event, and, you know, I am a Raw guy, and I will admit that. But, yeah, I mean, I have not remembered one Raw pay-per-view that blew me away. And do you think they're going to start? Do you think they're going to start now? You think they're going to start on Sunday night with this Payback event? No way. I mean, there's no Universal Champion. Brock Lesnar, of course, you know, doing what he does best, sitting at home, collecting a paycheck for whatever. So, you know, just what it is. So, there are some good matches on the card, yes, but honestly, I don't really have all those high hope. I don't really have that high of hopes going into this show. And, you know, the Raw pay-per-view track record hasn't really been all that good. So why start now? It's not going to start. So yeah, this is what I call a back to reality edition of Monday Night Raw. We had some great shows over the last couple of weeks, especially last week. Last week was such an amazing show. And then we got a crapola show. And this is the go-home show of all shows. Good grief. You're going to give us garbage like this on a go-home show? This is what Derek Ferrera likes to call hot garbage, and this certainly was hot garbage tonight. So take this show, stick it in the dumpster. That's all I can say on that. So, D.D. Woodson, I know you got to get going, but let me just get a quick overall thought from you before I take this thing home.
Oh, brother. I'm not even going to go halfway with this. I'll give it maybe 4 to 4.5 stars. I mean, the show sucked. It was definitely a hot mess. It was just all over the place.
Yeah, what a shame too.
A normal Raw usually has 2 cruiserweight matches. You only got 1. The both women's matches sucked. I don't even know why the heck they put Hawkins and Cruz in there. It didn't make any sense. It has nothing to do with the upcoming pay-per-view.
Nope.
In fact, most of these matches didn't have anything to do with the upcoming pay-per-view. It's just...
It's sad.
I mean, there's just no storyline building, and that's what we keep harping on with WWE, with Raw, is SmackDown can build these storylines up with the matches and the backstage stuff and the in-ring stuff. And what does Raw do? We just throw something together just for the hell of it. And it's like, you know, this does not make you want to see the pay-per-view next week or this weekend. And, you know, I'm going to watch it anyway, just because I got nothing else better to do on a Sunday night. My church don't have church services on Sunday night, and that morning we're having Blessing of the Bikers. So,
okay.
So yeah, I mean it's pretty lousy. No, Raw was lousy.
I agree, 100%.
So that's about all I'm going to say about it. Good night, guys. I'm sorry it was so bad, Anthony.
Hey, don't worry about it. We've had worse shows than this. Trust me, we have. So,
yeah, I guess if I had to decide on the 2 shows, I guess I'd have to side more with Fletch on SmackDown because it's definitely so far the better product, even though Raw's had some blowouts these last couple weeks just to come to the go home show and perform a dud. Because out of what 8 matches, you only have 3 worth your time. So, I mean, it's nothing. You know, and if I did have to rate the cruiserweights, I probably would have, you know, kind of agreed with you there on it. Because I mean, it was kind of entertaining. I like Austin Aries, but
I do too.
Really, I haven't seen a whole lot of the cruiserweight show that comes on.
Yeah, 205.
I haven't really seen much of the 205 because, you know, usually I'm doing the show and we turn off the TV after SmackDown. So I don't usually go onto the network to see it. So I really don't have much to say about 205.
No problem. That's where I come in. So,
yeah. So good night, guys. See you tomorrow.
All right, Didi, we'll see you tomorrow night. So, all right. Now I'm going to get into my Tony's take here. Of course, we got 205 Live and Impact Wrestling coming at you. So let's get right into it. 205 Live starts it off. We have Akira Tozawa squaring off against the premier athlete, Tony Nese. Akira Tozawa wins the bout in 5 minutes and 57 seconds. 2.5 stars. It was a solid enough match, but it was missing something, and the finish came off flat. It worked in regards to the Kendrick Tozawa feud, but didn't feel like a satisfying conclusion. So, and then they had this ridiculous segment with Noam Dar and Rich Swann, Alicia Fox. I'm not even going to dignify that because that was hot garbage. So I'm not even going to waste my time on that. Mustafa Ali against Arya Davari. Arya Davari wins the bout, 6 minutes and 55 seconds. Another 2.5 stars. It was another perfectly fine match with the purpose being to officially kick off the Ali and Drew Gulak feud after weeks of teases and to introduce Davari's new character. And then the main event, Austin Aries against TJ Perkins. Austin Aries wins it, 11 minutes and 50 seconds with that discus 5-arm. Outside of the one bad botch, they worked really hard and they put on a good match. The uninterested crowd hurt things, and I wish that the bout had more of a sense of urgency and revenge from Aries, but it still was the fight of the night for me by default, 3 stars. Overall rating, 6 out of 10. It was a solid and inoffensive show, but with nothing to really make you feel as if you needed to watch the dead crowd. And the dead crowd felt like a struggle to watch at times. They really need to do something. I'm not 100% sure of the answer, but moving it to before SmackDown or to Full Sail are certainly options. I hate seeing these guys work their asses off for little to no reaction. It's really sad for me. So that's all I can say on that. So 6 out of 10 for this edition of 205 Live. And then from there, of course, we had Impact Wrestling. Of course, it was a live show, although I think it aired on somewhat of a tape delay. So I think that's what it was. So, yeah, Impact Wrestling is what we're going to get into next, the live show that went down last Thursday night. And, you know, it was, it was definitely a lot of things went down on it. And I'll get my liner notes for that in just a moment. So, yeah, not one of our better shows here tonight. I mean, you know, unfortunately, due to technical difficulties beyond his control, MF couldn't be on the show tonight. So, and Michael Bullock ran late. So, all right. LAX went up against a couple of jobbers here. LAX, of course, won the match. No rating to a dud. Tremendously effective squash, allowing LAX to play the hits and show off their offense. And then we had your in-ring segment. Karen Jarrett came out, and then all these other guys came out, you know, the X Division guys, Andrew Everett, Trevor Lee, Gregory Shane Helms, but the return of Sanjay Dutt. You remember Sanjay Dutt, the original player from the Himalaya. And then Bruce Pritchard came out, and Sanjay Dutt said, hey, let's make the X Division match the main event tonight. Bruce Pritchard, Brother Love, came out and he agreed. So it would be a 6-way match. Helms, Lee, Everett, and Dutt, they all go at it. And so we got yet another multi-man X Division match when it would have been nice to see a one-on-one. It may be a great match, but one-on-one X Division matches are an endangered species in Impact Wrestling. The segment was fine, but I continue to feel that Pritchard is already a tired character, feeling forced into his segments as an authority figure. So that's all I can say on that. So then we had Rosemary against ODB for the Knockouts Championship. Rosemary successfully defends it, 3 minutes and 45 seconds. She retains the title. 1.5 stars, not very good, just clunky and never felt locked in, but it was thankfully short with Rosemary getting the clean win. And then we had Congo Kong in a squash match against some dude named Chris Silvio. 1 minute and 25 seconds. I'm not even going to waste my time on that. World Heavyweight Championship match, Bobby Lashley against Cowboy James Storm. Winner of the match in 17 minutes and 5 seconds, and still the Impact World Heavyweight Champion. It's Bobby Lashley. Second best fight of the night, 3 stars. You know, I can work with Matthews being a manager for Lashley and talking smack, but his commentary really took away from the bout at times, and it feels like he tries to make it too much about himself and not the bout. Overall, the match was good, but it faded down the stretch as far as energy and interest goes. I feel that this was an example of the overall segment being better than the match itself. And we finally got the long-awaited heel turn of Ethan Carter III, which was one that was greatly needed and screwing over, you know, the legendary veteran in James Storm, you know, the sentimental favorite in this match. That was a good way to get there. So I can definitely get with a Storm EC3 feud, definitely. That could be some good stuff down the line. And then the main event of the evening, the 6-way match for the X Division title. We had Trevor Lee defending against Andrew Everett, Suicide, Sanjay Dutt, a newcomer by the name of Desmond Xavier, and the returning original low-key Senshi Caval, whatever you want to call him. Winner of the match in 19 minutes and 12 seconds, and the new X Division champion, low-key, he wins it. Far and away the fight of the night, 3.5 stars. It was an overall very good and fun main event, and I love that the X Division got some time to shine here. And I'm hoping this will signal an increased focus on the division moving forward. And bringing Low Key back is a risky move when he's motivated and on. He's amazing. He's awesome. But he's burned so many bridges over the years when things don't go his way, which is my main concern. I mean, look at his WWE run, for goodness sakes. He didn't want to work the full schedule, and I can understand that because it's a brutal schedule. But I'm hoping as we move on, we can break away from the never-ending loop of multi-man X Division matches and lock in some feuds between the roster of talent that they have. So that's it. 6 3/4 to 7 out of 10. It started off well with the LAX squash and the brawl with Decay to set up next week's tag team title bout. And the feud could also lead to a Rosemary and Diamante feud for the Knockouts belt, which could be interesting stuff. They also set up Moose and Davey Richards for next week and finally pulled the trigger on the much-needed EC3 heel turn. The main event was the best match on the show, bringing in some new and old faces to the mix. Hopefully, this is more than a one-week thing because a newly focused on X Division is something Impact greatly needs. Pretty good effort this past week, setting some matches for the next show and, again, moving some of the other players into their next positions. So that's all I can say on that. So 6 3/4, 7 out of 10. That's the best I can give it. So, all right. As we wrap up here, let me get into the future content for what we're going to see this upcoming week on the show. And okay, let's see what we have. Just bear with me for a minute here. I do know we're going to have a tag team title match with LAX and Decay. That I do know. Well, actually, okay. It's going to be Bruce Pritchard. He's going to have a segment. And a big segment's going to come out of that. KM and Congo Kong against Braxton Sutter and Mahabali Shera. I guess apparently they're going to have the Global Force Wrestling tag tournament, I guess. Veterans of War against Mario Baccara and Falaba. And then Josh Matthews is going to, have a segment here and a big surprise return coming in, which should be very interesting. Mixed tag team match. Eddie Edwards and his wife Alicia against Davey Richards and Angelina Love. And then in the main event, EC3, James Storm, Magnus and the winner will face Bobby Lashley at Slammiversary for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, this will be rather interesting because Slammiversary is not until July 2nd, so we're gonna have to wait and see how this goes. So, and I think that's all I see for this upcoming show. So, if I missed anything, I do apologize for that. So, because these things always tend to be out of whack. So that's all I can say there. So that all goes down Thursday, 8 o'clock on Pop Television. Check the time and channel in your area, and that's it. So that's going to put the bow on this rather abbreviated edition of Ridiculously Raw. Unfortunately, Michael Fletcher could not be with us tonight due to technical problems beyond his control, and I'm not sure about Michael Bullock. I know he had a late night tonight, so I'm just going to wrap it up here. So, yeah. Let me see. And I believe there's also, and I think this was no, that's just other stuff. So, all right. So I'm going to get into the quick shout outs here. Of course, special shout out to all of our fans and viewers who make our shows what they are. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world. Didi Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the Woodson family. We got Michael Bullock here. All right, Michael Bullock has just joined us. Bullock, I'm just gonna have you. I'm gonna need you to go really rapid fire here because we had to really move the show along tonight. Fletcher couldn't join us because he had technical difficulties beyond his control, which kept him from.
Ooh, that sucks.
Yeah, he had some hangout issues, I guess. So he had some problems getting into the hangout, but I see you got in fine. Didi Woodson got in fine when she was on. So
yeah, I mean, I'm working fine right now, but
yeah, you're fine.
I can't understand why. I mean, the problems Fletcher's having.
Yeah, I certainly don't understand.
I mean, I feel bad for him. I
do too, and I'm hoping that he can get that rectified before tomorrow night for Cerebral Smack Talk, because that's his show. So
yeah, and if he can't get it fixed by then, and I'm guessing you're probably going to have to take over.
I've done it twice before, so who knows? Maybe I'll have to do it for a third time. I don't know. We'll see. And the last time I filled in, it only ended up being the highest rated Cerebral Smack Talk show since the show started months ago.
Well, we'll cross that path when we get there.
Exactly. So let's just get your rapid fire thoughts about this show tonight before we wrap up here. So, the opening segment, Chris Jericho interrupted by The Miz, Maurice, and Dean Ambrose. It started as the highlight reel, then it became Miz TV, and then it became the Ambrose Asylum. So a quick thought on that, Bullock, if you would.
I mean, yeah, you basically talk about a crazy segment that went down, and of course Ambrose and Jericho basically reconciled to the point where Ambrose got Jericho a new jacket. So I guess we finally got the old Chris Jericho colorful jacket back. So and boy, you know how much we love that Florio every time.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad they got that back. So yeah, so this was definitely a crazy segment here to start off this edition of Raw.
Indeed. And then we had a match, Matt Hardy against Sheamus. Matt Hardy won the match in 10 minutes with the twist of fate after a distraction on the outside. I already did the green beans routine, so what's that? Because that's how we celebrate a Hardy win. We celebrate with those green beans, baby. So, and it's a damn shame that Fletcher couldn't be on because he would have done the obsolete song of Jeff Hardy. So,
yep.
But Matt Hardy won it in 10 minutes. So your thoughts on Matt Hardy and Sheamus?
I'm gonna give it about. I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars as my rating on the match. I mean, I thought this was a good match for what it was in the time that it got. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So I say we just move on.
And then it was a cruiserweight tag team match. The cruiserweight champion Adrian Neville and TJ Perkins against Austin Aries and Jack Gallagher. interesting tag team match here. Neville and TJ Perkins, of course, favorites of MF. And you know me and my love for Austin Aries, and of course, your love for Jack Gallagher, Bullock. And I'm delighted to say our boys got it done. My boy Aries, your boy Gallagher. They got the win. Austin Aries with the discus 5-arm on TJP. Went about, I don't remember the time of the fall. I think it was somewhere near like 8 to 10 minutes or something like that. So your thoughts on that cruiserweight tag match?
I'm gonna give the same thing. I'm gonna give it about another 2.5 stars as my rating for the match. I mean these cruiserweight matches. I mean they continue to get better and better every time. So there's really nothing more to say on it. I'm just gonna move on to the next thing.
Yeah, time of the fall was 7 minutes and 25 seconds. That's what I got. Then we had the dumpster match. Braun Strowman, Kalisto. Believe it or not, Kalisto wins in 5 minutes and 25 seconds. But what I don't understand, Bullock, is you remember you and I we saw these the previous 2 dumpster matches. You remember Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie against?
Yeah, that one was a good one right there.
Very good one. I would say it was far and away the best one. And then the other one, the King of the Ring in 2000, X-Pac, Road Dogg, and Tori, when they went up against the Dudleys in that 3-on-2 handicap table dumpster match. Both of those matches were in Boston. This time around, it was in Kansas City. Kalisto won it in 5 minutes and 25 seconds. But correct me if I'm wrong, Bullock, and I told Didi Whitson this when she was on. Isn't the object of a dumpster match to have your opponent completely in the dumpster with the lid shut and not just part of you inside?
Yeah, I mean, because we saw this when in the other dumpster matches where you basically had to put your opponent inside the dumpster. I mean, completely all the way in there. So, yeah, questionable tactics there. But after the match, well, let's just say Kalisto basically he paid for what happened. He got put in that dumpster, and then Braun Strowman pushed him like literally right off the stage. So, and usually when Braun Strowman does something barbaric like that, you know what we gotta do, Florio? Roar! And you saw the look on Kurt Angle's face when as Kalisto was getting wheeled out. So yeah, he was basically put in a very tough situation. So as far as my rating, I hate to say it, but I'm giving this a no rating as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, that's fine. That's your opinion. Let's see. All right, dumpster match. All right, there were some cutouts here, and I'm going to save you from those cutouts, Bullock. I don't need your thoughts on that because I know you don't want to get into it. Dana Brooke, she knocked off Alicia Fox in 1 minute and 25 seconds. We're not going to waste your time on that. But we got a good 6-man tag match though. Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, and Big Cass. They went up against Samoa Joe, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson. Before the bout, Enzo Amore was taken out by Gallows and Anderson. Finn Balor was the replacement, as selected by General Manager Kurt Angle. And Balor, Rollins, and Cass win the bout in 6 minutes and 25 seconds. So your thoughts on that?
What was the time again?
6 minutes and 25 seconds.
I'm gonna give this about 1.5 to 2 stars as my rating on the match. So, I mean, it was good for the amount of time it was. I mean, not bad to have a replacement like Finn Balor. So there's really nothing more to say. So I'm just gonna move on.
All right. Let me see. And then we had an in-ring segment with Alexa Bliss, and then it was interrupted by Bayley, and then it was interrupted by Sasha Banks, and then it led into a match with Alexa Bliss against Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks won the match in 2 minutes and 35 seconds via the cop-out count-out. You know how much we love those. Yeah, right. So honestly, Bullock, I thought that the segment was better than the match itself.
Yeah, I agree. The segment was definitely a whole lot better than the match itself. So
Yeah, the match
yeah,
was a
so
cutout.
I'm not gonna waste my time on the match.
Yeah, it was a cutout. So yeah, the segment was solid, and Alexa Bliss came out like a star. She looked really good and played a great counter to Bayley's character. So, and then it was announced that at Payback, Enzo and Cass will go up against Gallows and Anderson in a tag team match. And then we're going to have a Miz TV segment on that kickoff show with his special guest, the Demon King, Finn Balor. So that should be some interesting stuff right there.
That should be very interesting with Finn Balor as a guest of the Miz TV segment.
Indeed. Maybe it could lead to a future Balor Miz program down the road. I'd be for that. So that could actually work. And then we had another cutout here. Kurt Hawkins running his mouth. This time it was Apollo Crews who took him up, and it was Apollo Crews who won it in 2 minutes and 11 seconds. I'm not going to waste your time on that. I'm not going to have you dignify that because we certainly didn't. And then from there, Dean Ambrose and Chris Jericho against The Miz. Miz said he had a partner, but he didn't show up, so it ended up being really a handicap match. It went to a no contest in 13 minutes because Bray Wyatt ended up showing out and raising all kinds of hells. So obviously, this is going to count. This is going to constitute as an NA rating. But your thoughts on that craziness at the end?
Yeah, obviously it's a no rating for me. I mean, yeah. So I mean, to me, obviously with Bray Wyatt interfering in the match. I mean, so strange to see Bray Wyatt out there. So really don't know what else is there to say on that. So I'm just gonna move on.
All right. Overall thoughts on this go home to Payback edition of Raw tonight.
What did you give this show?
I gave it 5.5 out of 10. Didi Whitson gave it between 4 to 4.5.
I'm gonna meet you guys in the middle, and I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. I mean, there was unfortunately there was a lot more negatives than positives, and unfortunately, and I'm pretty sure you saw on the Wrestling Forum page, Florio.
What's that, Bullock?
Well, hold on. Let me actually pull it up here because I just saw something moments ago. It's obviously Derek's review of it.
Yeah, his negative review.
Yeah, he said another profanity negative review on my end. It says WWE Raw continues to be trash as well. I'm not gonna say the word because this is your show, and I'm not gonna use whatever word that what that word he said.
Oh boy. Obviously Derek he's got to be in his EDP 445 mode. Yeah, that's not a good thing. So all right.
Yeah, but I think the thing is we don't want. I don't think we want to get on Derek's bad side.
No, indeed not. No, indeed not. So
I mean, we've learned the hard way not to get on Fletch's bad sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not pretty. So if we get on Derek's bad side, he'll go EDP 445 on us.
Oh yeah. So that's it. You
Let's
said
just
5
wrap
out
this
of
thing
10.
up.
Yeah, you said 5 out of 10. So you got any quick shout outs for us before we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, of course, shout outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to support our shows, whether it's this or the Cerebral Smack Talk or Strictly Sports. And of course, to our First Lady, Didi Woodson, and of course, our other super fans out there. You guys know who you are. To all of our friends from our high school days, you guys know who you are. To Derek Ferreira, and that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, whether it's on Fletcher's page or if it turns out to be right back here on the Tone 25. But either way, until then, this is the Phenom Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. And of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now. Enjoy the rest of your night, everybody. And of course, enjoy your Tuesday. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com.
I haven't wrapped up yet, Bullock.
So bye for now. And Florio, take us home.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I will do, Bullock. Of course, before you came in, I was in the midst of doing my shout outs. So lucky you came in when you did. Special shout out to Dee Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the entire Woodson family. Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbar, Daniel Luttrell from the UK, our other First Ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway. Our crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Al Braderson, and Rob Parsons. And, of course, good old MF Michael Fletcher, who, due to technical difficulties beyond his control, could not join us tonight. And, of course, the man himself who puts it all together, the hardcore pipe bomb, Derek Ferreira. So yeah, I'll save the rest of my shout-outs for Friday night. And, of course, coming up tomorrow night, we will have the Cerebral Smack Talk. Hopefully, MF will have his technical glitches fixed, and we can go from there. All right. Let's see. So that'll be Tuesday night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, and we got a pretty loaded show of a SmackDown Live tomorrow night. So Bullock, if we have a SmackDown Live chat, I mean, if we're gonna be doing a SmackDown Live chat tomorrow night, we're gonna have a lot of fun with it because.
Oh, you bet your bottom dollar we're gonna have ourselves a SmackDown chat tomorrow night.
All right, sounds good to me, and that's good because we got a loaded show coming up. Shinsuke Nakamura is going to be on the show. I don't know if it's going to be it's going to be. Okay, it's going to be an in-ring segment. So, and that's going to start the show. They already said Shinsuke Nakamura is going to kick off SmackDown Live tomorrow night, and he's going to have an in-ring segment. So
nice.
How about WWE Champion Randy Orton versus Eric Rowan in a no disqualification match? How about that?
That should be a good one. And
how about Baron Corbin? How about Baron Corbin versus AJ Styles again?
I like that. And of course, I also found out we're going to have our first ever tag team Beat the Clock challenge.
The Colognes, the Ascension, American Alpha, and Breezango Beat the Clock challenge. I'm guessing the winners will be the next #1 contenders for the SmackDown tag team titles. Currently held, of course, by Jimmy and Jey Uso. And
and then you got the SmackDown challenge. Women's Championship match,
which I hope ends up being the main event. In all honesty,
and I'm going to say this right now: I think Charlotte's winning that belt.
Wouldn't surprise me if that happens, Bullock. So yeah, Beat the Clock challenge, American Alpha, Breezango, the Colognes, and the Ascension. Whichever team wins in the shortest amount of time will face the Usos for the tag team titles down the line. Shinsuke Nakamura will kick off the show. Charlotte Flair and Naomi for the women's title. Baron Corbin against AJ Styles. And the WWE Champion Randy Orton will go up against Eric Rowan in a no disqualification bout. So that's going to be a very interesting show from Des Moines, Iowa tomorrow night. So that will go down as part of our SmackDown Live review on the Cerebral Smack Talk. Hopefully he'll be with MF. Hopefully he'll have his issues all set up. And then Wednesday night, MF and I will be back with you for the Bulls Corner as we recap Game 5 between the Chicago Bulls and the Boston Celtics. And then Thursday night, we're back with you for the Ranger Roundup as the New York Rangers kick off their second round series with the Ottawa Senators. That will be on Thursday night. And then Friday night, we got another Bulls Corner, Game 6 of the Celtics and the Bulls in Chicago. And then we also got Strictly Sports. Derek released the docket a couple of hours ago. And here we go. I'm not at all surprised that we're going to be getting into this. Of course, the Aaron Hernandez situation.
Do we have to?
Unfortunately, we do. Last week we had such a fun show, with the
schedule release.
But this time around, we do have two. Not unfortunately, it's the first of two Noggin Diva situations.
Oh, really?
Aaron Hernandez committing suicide. Sterling Marte suspended by Major League Baseball. Madison Bumgarner injured in a dirt bike accident. Grayson Allen will be staying for his senior season at Duke. But then we got a very interesting double main event. We're going to preview the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Of course, you already know the New York Rangers against the Ottawa Senators. We've also got the Washington Capitals against the Pittsburgh Penguins, the St. Louis Blues against the Predators, and the Edmonton Oilers against the Anaheim Ducks. And then in the other half of that double main event, it will be our first of many Major League Baseball power rankings for this season. So that all goes down Friday night. And then Saturday, I don't know if we're going to have a Ranger roundup. That's scheduled to be game 2 of the Ranger Ottawa series. And a payback preview. I mean, we'll have to work that out. We'll have to work out the details on that. So very busy week, to say the very least. So, all right. So that'll do it for this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, which will hopefully be on MF's channel, or if not this one, it's Ridiculously Over Anthony Flair here for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, Didi Woodson, good old MF Michael Fletcher, and Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, keep it watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Zone 25 on YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. Good night, everybody.